Hello, fellow comic book lovers, collectors, and aficionados. Vin Crew here with his, well, it's not a bitch, it's not a back issue comic haul, but it's just my, like I mentioned on my last video, I'm in the process of moving. We're closing on the house, and just depending on when this video actually gets aired, depend if I've moved or not. But I wanted to do a recap of the books that I've bought over the last, the highlights of the books I bought over the last year. I've never done this before. I've seen Omega Shin, Ryu Kin, and Spidey Fan, and ECW Fan, and quite a few others do this, and I think a few have already done it already this year. So, but this is just my way of kind of recapping things, so, and just let you guys know I'm still alive a little bit. But so we're going to do two videos. One's going to be Marvel and DC, and then the other one is going to be my independents and variants. So, all right, let's get it started here. First one is, this is Marvel Preview number 2, I believe. Yeah, number 2. This is the origin of the Punisher and an extremely early appearance of the Punisher. So happy to have that one. I'm going to start off with a few magazines here. And then, you know, obviously this book is just mushroomed in popularity since the Netflix series. You're going to have seen all these books already, but it's just a recap once again. This is Creepy number 1, came out in 1964. First appearance of Uncle Creepy. Growing, if anybody was a monster fan in the 70s and 80s, this was a book that you would definitely be aware of. So happy to have this in my collection. This book I recently picked up at the Fall Con. This is Marvel Preview Presents number 7. This is the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon, and with the new Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie coming out fairly quickly. This book is always going to be very popular, so happy to have that, and I can't believe it took me this long to get that book. All right, so and these are in no particular order, so you know they're just books that I'm not going to put them ranking 1 to whatever, you know. But here's Showcase number 55. First Silver Age appearance of Solomon Grundy, early Silver Age appearance of Dr. Fate and the Hourman. This is Action Comics 254. This is the first Bizarro. Not the first Bizarro is in Superboy 86. This is the first Bizarro that we're used to seeing, the Bizarro that's used today, and this is the third appearance of Supergirl. So kind of a twofer right there. So happy to have that in my collection. Another Superman comic. This is Adventure Comics 271. This is the first time that Lex's name is just referred to as Lex instead of Alexander, I believe. And it's the origin of Lex Luthor. Now, normally on on villains, normally these don't really resonate that well. But when you're talking Lex Luthor, you know, not so much Bizarro, but for sure Lex Luthor, there's those upper echelon tier of villains that are in their own, and you know, Lex Luthor, Joker, Magneto, Doctor Doom, those sorts of Loki, those sorts of villains. So but yeah, very, very happy to have that. Another Bizarro book and another Superman book. This is Superman 140. This is the first Bizarro Supergirl. So happy to have that one in the collection. All right, moving on. This is World's Finest number 88. This is the first time, speaking of villains in the upper echelon, this is the first time that that Lex Luthor and the Joker team up together is in this book right here. So if you're a Luthor or a Joker fan, you definitely should have this one on your list. It's World's Finest 88. All right, another Batman book, Detective 311, the first appearance of Catman. Believe it or not, this book is not that easy of a book to find, and B, considering that it's a detective book, and detective books for the most part don't command a huge premium as compared to Batman, this book is somewhat of an exception. It's not a cheap book. and it's not that easy to find. So first appearance of Catman, Detective 311. Here's another one of those big Batman villains. This is Batman 155. This is the first Silver Age appearance of the Joker, or the Penguin, excuse me. This is my goal this year with my Batmans was to try to work back from 200 to 144. I got close. I think under 10 issues to make that happen, but we'll try to finish that up in 2017. But this is one of the keys to make that happen. This is another one of those keys. This is 171. Not the best condition copy, but this book is so gall darn pricey. This is 171, the first Silver Age appearance of the Riddler. Riddler, one of my favorite villains of them all. Joker's probably my number one, but I would put Riddler right up there. So, and then this book was one I just showed in my last bitch. And it's my Batman 181 that I just found that at the half price book, so it's now my second copy. So yeah, and now that the Gotham City Sirens news with the movie is broke, this book is just being talked up big time on all the message boards. Once again, I'm shooting this before Christmas, before the move, so it just depends on when this finally gets uploaded. Some of this information may be a month old or whatnot, but yeah. So with the recent news of the Gotham City Sirens, that's what the quote unquote they're calling it, Gotham City Sirens, with the solo Harley Quinn movie. This book is just being talked up on the message boards. All right. Oh, boy. Why the Last Man, number one. This book here, since it's always been a book that's always commanded some attention and some premium, but since they announced that it's going to be a movie or a TV or something, that book just poof went right through the roof. So Why the Last Man, number one. Brian K. Vaughan, one of the best storytellers in the modern age. House of Secrets. Is this 61, the first Eclipso. That is a tough book to find. It's a book that, even though this Eclipso is rarely used, and he's definitely not in a movie or a TV or whatnot, this book usually commands a premium, a very good premium, especially on eBay. So if you can find House of Secrets 61, the first appearance of Eclipso, I would definitely add that onto the list. All right. Once again, these are in no particular order. Hawkman number 4. This is obviously the first appearance of Zatanna, and early Hawkman, I guess, too. But obviously, the big news on this book is the first appearance of Zatanna, and with that, her being part of the Justice League Dark, and that apparently is going to be still a live action, but for sure a animated movie. So, all right. This book here, even though it's probably not the most popular book, it is extremely hard to find. You can use the word ghost when it describes this. This is Black Hawk 133 from 1951. This is the first appearance of Zinda Blake, the Lady Black Hawk. So that book, I don't even think you'll find one on eBay. If you're lucky, you'll find one copy if you're lucky, usually at big conventions, like San Diego Comic-Con. You might find 2 there, or New York Comic-Con. Extremely hard to find this book. Very, very hard to find, let alone in any particular condition. This book is just, like I said, you could use the word ghost and not be exaggerating. All right. Strange Adventures 205, the first Dead Man. Speaking of Justice League Dark, this book is, I don't know if he's not part of Justice League Dark, but that I know of. Yeah, I don't think. And but still a very sought after book. Very kind of occultish type following. Maybe that's not the best word to use when describing Dead Man, but like I said, a very strong following. People are willing to pay a premium for this book, and it's Neil Adams on top of that. So, all right, Green Lantern number 5, the first appearance of Hector Hammond. Oh my God, I couldn't remember the name at first. Obviously a single digit Green Lantern in the second series. I was hoping to get a Green Lantern 7 this year for Sinestro, but that's going to get pushed back to 2017 or next year or this year, whenever this movie or this vid gets uploaded. But still very, very happy to have Green Lantern number 5, Hector Hammond. I cleared a lot of Green Lanterns off my list. This year I'm down to needing 6, I think, 5 or 6 books to finish that complete series. So happy to have that. Another series I worked real hard on this year and got real fortunate. This is Justice League of America, Volume 1, Number 2. This is the earliest Justice League of America that I own. I don't own number 1, and I don't own any of the Brave and the Bolds, 28, 29, and 30. On my list, but yeah, so I'm this book here, number 2. I cleared off a ton. I probably bought 30 Justice League of Americas, all under 50, issue 50. So, all right, another book series that I was finally able to finish this year was Teen Titans Volume 1. This is issue 1. Another book on my want list and goal of this year was to get a Brave and the Bold 54. That didn't happen. That one will get pushed back again to 2017. But now I own the second appearance, the third appearance, and then this whole run. So, all right, and then probably the number 1 DC book that I was able to purchase this year is House of Secrets 92, first appearance of Swamp Thing. So, going back to Justice League Dark. But, you know, I kind of cover Barry Windsor Smith, just top 10 Bronze Age books to own, blah, blah, blah. How many other accolades can you give this book? So very, very, very happy to have this book. All right, so that takes care of DC. Let's move on to my Marvel. Okay, once again, in no particular order, Tales to Astonish 49, the first appearance of Giant Man. Obviously, when the Civil War came out, this book saw a huge jump in popularity. So, but still, an early appearance of Ant-Man turning into Giant Man. Tales of Suspense number 57, the first appearance of Hawkeye. That one had been sorely lacking in my collection. You know, I'm never going to afford the first appearance of Thor. I'm never going to afford the first appearance of Captain America, Hulk, you know, any of the other original, you know, Ant-Man, Wasp, any of the other original Avengers. Maybe the Wasp. I think I can get the Wasp. But for sure, I wanted to get, even though they're not the original ones, they're original ones out of the movie. I wanted Black Widow, which I got that a couple years back, and then Hawkeye, so I was able to take those off the list. A couple of early Thors that I was able to take off the list. 114, first appearance of Absorbing Man. This guy has always been, Crusher Creel has always been one of my favorite villains. I just like him for some reason. And then when he showed up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a couple of seasons back, that book just skyrocketed. I needed to wait until it calmed down a little bit, and I was lucky enough to secure it at a price that I was comfortable at. Here's a book that is doing nothing but going up in value. This is 103, Journey into Mystery. This is the first appearance of the Enchantress and the Executioner. The Executioner for sure is going to be in Ragnarok. I think it's almost a given that the Enchantress is going to show up in the Ragnarok. My gut feeling is that the Valkyrie character is going to be shown to be Enchantress at the very end, and that's going to give the segue to the Enchantress. Could be wrong. Another book that I just remember I bought this year too was the first appearance of Hela. So that one was another one I should have put on here, but yeah, I can't show them all, right? But all right, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 1. Steranko, just one of the more iconic covers that are out there right now, and that it happens to be signed by Mr. Steranko himself. So very happy to have that one in my collection. With the Doctor Strange movie and the success of that movie, Clea and Dormammu. Sure saw this book, 126, Strange Tales 126. First appearance of Dormammu and Clea. I'll spit it out in a proper order. Sure saw a huge increase in value and desirability. So happy to have been able to pick this one up at a recent or at a semi-decent price. This one here is, there's a huge background story on this, but this is a McFarlane cover, and this is G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Special Number 1. This was supposed to be the cover to G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, issue 61, but Hama didn't like what he saw from a young McFarlane, so he ended up using a Zek cover instead. So this sat in the shelf for, in the file cabinet for years and years and years. And once McFarlane skyrocketed to the popularity that he did, Marvel decided to go ahead and use this. And so extremely desirable, very, very desirable. Probably about $100 book. Another book that I'm happy to have, maybe not the most sexiest book out there, but Transformers number 80. This is the last issue to this series. Extremely low print run. Similar case of Conan 275 or Star Wars 107 or G.I. Joe 155. Those last issues are extremely low print run, extremely desirable because people that collected it back when we were young, we collected them, and now we want our childhood back. So only so many of those can go around. Some X-Men books. This one I picked up in a trade with Comic Brains, and it's once again, it's not a near mint copy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's intact. Everything's there, so happy about that. This is X-Men number 12. This is the first appearance of Juggernaut. Boy, I mean, this was another series I really went hard on in this year. I cleared off I must have picked up another 30 issues of this series, all before it rebooted on 67 with the reprint. So I need 5 issues to finish this series. So here is another one of those. This is number 14, the first appearance of the Sentinels. Going back to villains that are paramount to characters and teams. Sentinels and Magneto. I mean, in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Those are the ones that, when you think of X-Men and how wide-reaching and expand and how wide-reaching the mutant universe is, Sentinels always seem to pop up into that. So there's another X-Men. Number 10, just picked this one up not too long ago. First appearance of the second Khazar in the first appearance of Zabu. Number 10 on X-Men. So happy to have that. Tomb of Dracula, speaking of 10, issue 10, Tomb of Dracula number 10, first appearance of Blade. Wow, did this book see a resurgence again this year, huh? This book had quelled down a little bit, but always still popular. But then when the Wesley Snipes began talking about redoing a movie, and then they rebooted the character into a female version and blah, 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 this book just jumped up in value. So Tomb of Dracula number 10, first Blade. And these are, once again, all books I picked up this year, so very happy about that. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 46. This is the first appearance of the Shocker, who is going to show up in the Homecoming movie. So this book saw a sharp little increase. Amazing Spider-Man 31. This is the first appearance of Harry Osborn and Gwen Stacy. And this book I picked up on Instagram. It's the only book I've ever bought off Instagram. And so he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. But yeah, so this is an early Spider-Man. This is a series I can always work on, and they're so expensive. So anything 50 and under is just crazy money. All right, here's another Amazing Spider-Man, number 17, the second appearance of the Green Goblin. I highly doubt I will ever afford a number 14. If I do, it's not going to be in any condition at all. But you know, for right now, I was fortunate enough to pick up a second appearance, and it's 17, so that's still an early Spider-Man book. So and it's in pretty nice shape, except for that little P being colored in there. So all right, some Fantastic Four books that I picked up. This is annual number 2. This is the origin, I believe, of Doctor Doom, and an early Fantastic Four appearance. So happy to have that one. Black Bolt, first appearance of Black Bolt in issue 46. Showed this a couple of videos back. You know, even though the Inhumans is up and down, up and down, up and down, and Marvel crams them down our throat, you know, it's still a desired book, and it's come down in price, but it's still a very desired book. And along with this one here, this is number 36, the first appearance of Medusa, along with the Frightful Four. Was fortunate enough to be able to pick those up at the same time, so I was able to finish my This finishes everything on my Inhumans run. I own pretty much everything until up to the current series. So, all right, okay. I had picked up issue 48 early in 2015, so to be able to pick up 49, and I also picked up 50, but I'm going to just go with 49 right here of Fantastic Four. This is the first cover appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus. It is the second appearance of those two said characters, and just an early Fantastic Four. That whole trilogy of 48, 49, and 50 are extremely sought after cornerstones for so many people's collections, including mine, and I'm very fortunate to be able to own that trilogy. All right, and then the last book. This is probably number 1 for me. You guys can decide for yourself, but I was extremely happy. This was a series I worked very hard on, but I really had no, what's the word I'm looking for? I really didn't think I would ever complete this series. This is Daredevil number 1. I never thought I would own this book. It wasn't even on my radar. I thought it was way out of my price range. I was extremely fortunate to be able to find it in really pretty decent condition and a price that I was able to afford. So, and because of this, I mean, I picked up issues 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and on up. I mean, I really hit Daredevil hard, and several of those issues could have made this list, but I decided to just stick with the issue number 1 here to A, save a little bit of time, and B, just you know, to really focus on how much I enjoy this particular book. It's the first appearance of Daredevil. It's the first appearance of Foggy Nelson, Karen Page, blah, blah, blah. Spider-Man's in the book. It's the last of the Silver Age number 1s. Marvel. It's just so many things about this book that make it so desirable. So, all right, so that was some like 40 some books, 42, 43 books. Look for the next video is going to focus on my top independents and variants. So this is Vin Crew saying thank you for everyone for supporting me and watching my stuff. I want to wish everybody a great 2017. I hope everybody had a very happy and safe holidays. And yeah, it's Vin Crew signing off.